Welcome to Toffee TV. This is the match preview. Southampton versus Everton. Koeman going back to his old stomping ground of 2 years, which will be interesting. See what kind of reception they give him.
Lovely warm welcome back.
They should do. They set them up for good times. Good times. Yeah, it's a difficult game. Difficult game on paper, certainly. Wednesday last season, obviously won 3-0, very convincing win. Set us up for the season. We thought it was going to be like that all season. We were lied to. But in our favour, they've got a game on Thursday night. I think they have to go to the Czech Republic, is it?
Sparta Prague, yeah.
You know, so they play Thursday night in Europa League. And as of late, you know, sort of, they haven't done that well. Under the radar, they haven't been doing too well. They've had tough games themselves, obviously. I think they drew with Liverpool at the weekend. Obviously, a game Liverpool heavily should have won.
Dominated, yeah.
They dominated the game.
They've won one in the last 6 matches in the Premier League.
They beat
and Everton 1 in 8.
They beat a very average Inter Milan, which they made a big thing about because of obviously the name of Inter Milan, but very, very average Inter Milan team in the Europa League. They got beat by Hull last week. They got beat by Chelsea, obviously. They were playing well, but they're not. I think people are worried about this game, and I suppose rightly so. But at the same time, they're not exactly flying, are they?
No, but Claude Puel's come in. He's took over, hasn't he, from Koeman, and he's done a relatively good job. They were quite close to us. Again, they've had a lot of turmoil in the summer, which seems to be the Southampton way at the moment. Each summer there's turmoil, and I've been impressed by the fact that he's managed to just keep it ticking over. You know, they've won. They had 4 wins, a bit like us. They had 4 wins on the run, and then the next minute it's a little bit of a brick
started
wall.
Slowly, didn't he?
They drew, I think, with Watford at home the first game. Then he got beat at Man United, and then people were like, "Oh, here we go. You know, these are going to struggle." But he's picked it up. You know, got a very good win away at West Ham, 3-0 at West Ham. You got a point at Manchester City. You know, albeit with the last gasp equaliser. You know, drew at Liverpool at the weekend. So it's a tough game. It's a tough place to go. We had a fantastic win last year down there, but we're not playing well. They're the favourites because they're at home and they do quite well at St Mary's. But we're just not playing well. But it's not a game I look at and think we've got no chance of winning.
No, it'll be, you know,
it'll still be a tough.
They'll have. I'm sure Thursday night they'll put a half a decent side out. You know,
if they get a good result Thursday, they're basically, they're flying in that group, then, aren't they? So they put themselves in a good position.
I'm sure Thursday they'll be thinking, right, we need to. This squad's not that big I mean, it's probably similar size to us. It's not big enough to sort of think about making wholesale changes anyway. So unless he just completely says swerve the Europa League Thursday night, we'll quit. But you don't. You know, you'll have a spine out. And you think we should be capitalising that, because I know it's only 3 days and all the rest of it, but it still gives us a week to prepare for that game where they've only really got a couple of days.
Well, we suffered with it, didn't we, when we were in the Europa League last year or the year before? The year before, we suffered with the Sunday game sometimes. It's getting yourself up for the game. You know, by the time the week comes, it shouldn't make any difference because Champions League teams play on a Wednesday and then play again on the Saturday, so it's a similar rest period, but it doesn't, for some reason.
I think organically, just like because of the tournaments, they just don't have as big a squads, do they? Or have as much quality. So,
we should be able to prepare properly for it all week. He's got them a full week this week. You know, we'd be moaning the fact that he only had them for a couple of days last week. He's got them for 8. You know, it'll be 8 days from when they walked off the pitch against Swansea. You know, and we're going to have to turn in a big performance, and he's going to want Everton to turn in a big performance.
Well, Ronald Koeman said after the Swansea game, he said he wasn't like sure what happened. He said, he was asked about the response, and he said, I don't know why the players started so slowly. He said, I felt like I got a response second half, but he said he didn't feel like it was their first half, and he said, I don't know why. He said, so maybe we'll see more of a response in this game because he's had more time to prepare to them. Ashley Williams has also come out and said that the players are going to have to, sit down and have a meeting between them to find out why they're so inconsistent. Why because
you can't kick that white thing in between.
Yeah, well, Ashley Williams actually said we haven't had one good 90 minutes all season. He said that himself. He said we need to sit down and figure this out. Why we can't put performances together. And I suppose in a way, if Koeman's preparing them and he's saying, well, I expected more, the players have got to take more responsibility, haven't they, now, and start working out why they can't do it. And if they can't string performances together as such, like, they need to at least make sure they have professional performances where they're getting through games.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because you're looking at it and thinking, these players just simply aren't good enough.
Yeah,
and that's what it is. You can look for things why things are going wrong, and you can go. The reality is we don't score enough goals, and we don't keep the ball up the net, and that's the.
But to be fair, we have tightened up a lot.
We've tightened up. Well, it wasn't hard, to be fair, was it? No. Last year it was shambolic. But we're not scoring enough goals.
No.
Defensively, I'm saying that. Defensively, we've been decent, apart from the Chelsea. Take the Chelsea game out of it, we've had a good defence this season, and that's the way the team's been set up. Offensively, we're shocking. We are shocking because we've proved we're shocking because we're not having lots of chances in.
I think the main thing is that, and it can't be. I don't think people should get, and I don't think any Evertonians will get conned into it. But the two things are not linked, are they? Do you know what I mean? We're not scoring goals because we have suddenly become really defensive.
No.
The two very, because sometimes that happens, doesn't it?
Of course it does,
sometimes that happens. You tighten up at the back, you stop taking chances, and you suffer in front of goal. But that's not happened to us as such. We've got ourselves organised at the back, which as you said, didn't really take much, but it hasn't took anything away from how we are going forward. We're just not going forward in any kind of style or pattern.
I just think we're simply outnumbered, mate. To me, that's all it is. We're simply outnumbered. We've got a centre forward who knows where the goal is if we're given chances. We don't give him that many chances a game. He has to sometimes make the chances himself. We don't get anyone in and around.
Yeah.
You said it in the final word yourself. We don't get players in the box. We've got two of the most attacking fullbacks in the Premier League. Therefore, we should be able to flood the box with midfield players. We still should be able to leave two centre backs and a spare midfielder. So you've got three at the back. Three at the back should be enough when you're attacking.
Yeah.
So therefore, you take the player who's in possession of the ball. We should have 6 men in the box, virtually, or 5, and one just on the edge of the box when our wide players have got the ball. And we haven't. We have 1 or 2. And so that's why we're not scoring those kind of goals. And our link play isn't being good enough. No one runs beyond Lukaku. No midfield player does.
Yeah.
So that it's there for everybody to see. I'm quite sure Ronald Koeman can see it as well. It's just that the personnel he's got at the moment. I mean, what happens in this game? The right hand side is wide open. So who comes in for this one? He's tried Lennon. He didn't do anything. He's tried Morales. He never does anything. Delafeu hasn't done anything. So who goes on the right? Do we go back to Tom Cleverley? You have a go then on the right hand side. Does Ross Barkley play wide on the right? Do we play Enna Valencia and play him wide right and try and join in with Lukaku? Because the wide right position for me at the moment is the one it's just wide open for anybody to take.
No one's took it.
And then that centre back, you took off your club captain with 10 minutes to go, okay, albeit we were in desperate circumstances, it could have been anybody, but for me it felt quite significant that he took Jagielka off. So does Jagielka keep his place this weekend? Does Funes Mori come in back alongside Williams and we go, right, we're going to go back to these two? They kept the clean sheet together against West Ham. We've got Baines back in there. Are we going to go back and try and be nice and tight there with some organisation? And the thing is, Funes Mori off corners is a danger, it's a threat in the opposition penalty area, because our corners at the weekend were just embarrassing. The amount we had as well, it was embarrassing. Really, they were pathetic, every single one of them. So there's a lot of questions, and this is a game we can win, but it's a game we can also. If Southampton play to their level, it's going to be very, very tough for us to get any kind of result out of it.
Yeah.
And it's quite disappointing, isn't it? It feels a little bit like the enthusiasm gone already.
Well, I mean,
of a new era. That's how it feels.
I suppose it feels like what it should feel like in a way.
Yeah, it's transition.
It's a transition season. We've got, I think, the start of the season has definitely sort of got our hopes up. Maybe
that we could be doing better. Yeah.
But I think what that does is, if a team shows you glimpses of what it wants to be, you expect to see more and more and more, and we've seen less and less and less. And I reiterate the point I said in my instant match reaction was, the default setting is still Martinez, and people picked me up on this and said, can't keep blaming Martinez. I'm not blaming Martinez. I'm blaming the players and I'm blaming the manager for not changing that, for not getting out those habits. Because last Saturday, I felt like when things weren't going right, instead of keep trying to do the things that are new, and they switched back to default setting, and the default setting is pass the ball across the back line. I mean, last Saturday the most passes was Jagielka to Williams to. What's that reminiscent of?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas that's what I'm saying. We said it before about like players like Barkley. You've got to get that level of 7. That's got to be your default. You know what I mean? You forget about having 2s and 9s. You've got to have loads of 7s. And I think it's the same with the team. It's like the default is just going back to the Martinez thing of pass, dead slow.
Because it's been drilled into them. That
exactly.
Possession is everything.
Exactly. And that's what they've got to get away from. And as I say, that's not criticism. You can't keep blaming Martinez for this team. Not blaming Martinez. I'm blaming the players for not taking on board the ideas, and I'm blaming the manager for not getting that drilled into him, that this is the way he wants to play, and if you're not prepared to play like that for me, then you're out the side, and your chances are going to become less and less, because he's already shown, or he's certainly shown earlier on, that some players that he didn't feel like were near the team were gone before they even were given a chance. And in games, taking off people like James McCarthy, taking off people like Ross Barkley, sent out that message that if you're not playing it well enough, doesn't matter, I'm taking out the team. And I think that needs to stick more and more. I want to see it more and more. I want to see his influence stamped more on this team, and I don't think it is being. And yes, of course, it's still early days, but let's see more of it. Let's see aggressively getting drilled into this team. Because as we mentioned on the final word, where's that first hour from Spurs gone? Where's that gone? Where has that gone? Where, imagine playing with that kind of intensity against Swansea on Saturday.
Oh,
battered them. Yeah. Would have battered them. We would have battered them. And sometimes in games you only need an hour. You need half an hour. You can play for an hour of brilliant intensity, be 2-3-0 up. If you're a couple up, the other team are like, be arse now. And the game's the game's gone, and the game's won. It's gone for them, and you get on with it. And we're not seeing that, and that's what I mean by the Martinez default.
Yeah, it's hard to argue, because it did look like that kind of performance, and it is. Martinez he's got to take some of the blame. He drilled these principles into players for 3 years, but you're right, the players. I just look at the players and just think they're just not good enough. And it is too easy to slip back into keep the ball, something like that, and keep the ball. It doesn't. The only way you move teams that want to keep it nice and tight against you is you've got to be quicker and move it and physically. You watched Swansea when they broke at the weekend. They were so much more incisive around the edge of the box. The movement was much better. Okay, we defended quite well on those occasions, but for us to go to Southampton, we've got to switch it up. It's got to be nice and quick. We've got to be sharp. Otherwise, this will be another game where they just keep us at bay.
Because you can hide behind that as well, can't you? Because if you're keeping possession, as we've seen last season, if you're keeping possession and you're keeping it nice and tight, but you're not prepared to take chances, you can hide behind the fact that look at all the possession we had, look at all the passes we had, look at this, look at that, and you think, but you didn't take any chances. You didn't move the ball quickly. You weren't prepared to gamble and take shots and get into positions. I mean, that's why I think some players like Balassi, he winds people up because they go, 7 out of 10, but to be fair to the lad, he is always trying to do something, and when it pays off, it more or less, like Lukaku will always get a chance out of it. Okay, he's very frustrating, but he plays on that edge of, I'd rather be frustrating but make something happen than just be dead safe, because we've got loads of dead safe players.
I just wish he'd calm down a little bit.
No, I know that.
Lashes at
I know
the
that,
ball
and I agree with you. But we've got loads of really safe players,
we have.
and safe players are not worth a carrot.
No, he is eccentric. It's what he does. I don't think he knows what he's doing himself half the time. His legs do things with, and you're going, what are you doing? The ball's still there. But you know, we can criticise him. But at the weekend, he put one on a plate for Lukaku. He yard out at 0-0. He's got to score from there, but then himself, Balassi gets in and he should score with Fabianski. He hits it straight at him, a bit more composure. It's 1-1. It's a different game going into the second half. Most of the stuff that we do and we have chances from comes from Yannick Balassi, so people can criticise him. I criticised him at the weekend, didn't think he had a good game at all, but I'm talking about we could have been.
But he still made 3 or 4 chances and should have scored himself.
You know, but he's come in and he's been directly involved in 5 goals that we've scored this season. Show me another player that's done that. We haven't got anyone in that team that's done that or come close to doing that. So
yeah,
that's what it's about.
Yeah, I think Sunday, just to wrap it up, I think if we can not do something stupid in the first 20 minutes, make sure we're in the game, make sure we're competing, then we will get chances. They're not the greatest team in the world. If we stay organised, I think, obviously, we can.
Ashley Williams
sounds
is
key.
Gareth Barry will be back in, and that's key. And we have to keep, like you say, get through those first 20 minutes. Don't give them anything to get behind. Don't give them anything to cling on to. Keep it nice and tight. Even, to be honest, boredom, like they do to us at home, and then they'll settle a little bit.
They'll be a little bit more leggy than us. And we've got to remember that they'll be a little bit more leggy than us. If we can get that if we can get that a little bit more higher intensity working in the first half an hour, get them a little bit more tired out. Don't let the game settle down into a little nonsense, which is happy for them. If we can just push them a little bit, then and take our chance when we get it, then I think we can win it. I think we can get 3
like
points.
you said before. It's a winnable game. There's no question about it. I'm not saying we should win, and I'm not saying it'll be easy to win. It's a winnable game. Most games are winnable, aren't they? But this, you'd rather be going to St Mary's than going to Anfield at the weekend, or to, the Emirates or somewhere like that. But they're still a good side, and if we're not up and at it, they will beat us. And it's going to be a tough game for us. It's going to be tough for us to get a result, because they have got a threat. They've got goal threat. Charlie Austin's a goal threat. Rodriguez in it. Tadic, I think he missed the weekend. I'm not sure if he's going to be fit. He's a threat. So they've got players who can cause you problems. But Ronald Koeman knows all about them. And so if he can't prepare us properly for this one, then you would ask questions. But the players have got to stand up at the moment and go, we're not performing the way we should be, and we've got to take some responsibility for it. And that's what it comes to.
Definitely. So, prediction?
2-2.
Yeah, I'm going 2-2 as well. I'm
a hopeful 2-2.
Yeah. I think we can beat them. Tell us what you think in the comments. Are you confident of this one? 4:15 PM kickoff on Sunday against Southampton. Are you hopeful? Do you think we can do it? We've done it down there in the past. Can we do it on Sunday? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.